Welcome back to the Comp Closet podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm your host, Sarah Moore, and today we are joined by an incredible mum who is just a few weeks out from the FMG New Zealand show. And she's also traveling to Australia to compete in the FMG Worlds just a few weeks after that. Dani Archer, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
No worries. I am super excited to hear more of your journey because everything that you post and everything that you stand for is so inspiring. So let's talk about the FMG New Zealand prep first. You're only a few weeks out now. How are you feeling?
Yeah, it's crazy. I feel like time's flying. I want to say we started prepping almost 30 weeks out. And I was like, oh, we've got so long to go. And now, 5 weeks, 4 weeks? Can't even think now. But yeah, it's been an incredible journey so far and really smooth actually, which has been great in terms of juggling mum life and work life as well. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the process and can't wait now just to meet all the people I've been connecting with and step on the stage.
Yes, absolutely. And do you remember the moment that you decided to actually compete and take it seriously?
Yeah, I prepped in 2021 and then that didn't go ahead. And then obviously had Mason. And then I remember I had a call with Ellie maybe a year and a half ago and talking about competing, but then just felt it wasn't the right time yet. So I did a few prep, like I want to say test preps, where I coached myself to photo shoot just to see whether I was ready. And I was like, oh, I'm ready. I think I can do it. And then they announced there was going to be a New Zealand show. And I was like, that was it. Done. Got to do it.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So yeah, contacted Ellie. I was like, this is happening.
100%. And walk me through that cancelled comp in 2021, because obviously, like when you commit to a comp prep and it's your first show and you have your heart set on it, it's pretty devastating when it gets cancelled. So, how did that feel? And then what happened after that cancelled show?
Yeah, so I remember crying, but I think it was more like the sacrifices that you make a lot of sacrifices in prep. And like we'd had my dad's 65th, I remember this, and we'd gone away for it. So we were literally on a camper van trip, and that whole camper van trip around the South Island, I was taking my food to restaurants, and we did this big dinner for my dad's birthday, and I sat while everyone, it was like a 7-course meal, and I only had the main. So I sat and watched everybody eat and handed my dishes, just all those little things you sacrifice. I think was the main reason I was upset about it being cancelled. But then looking back, like the place I'm in now, if I think I was about 6 weeks out, it got cancelled. So let's say 6 weeks out now, I'm just in such a better position in terms of competing, like health wise and physique wise. And so it was worth waiting.
Absolutely. And that's like what everyone says that's had cancelled shows. In the moment, it feels like the end of the world. I think we must have been prepping for that same show in 2021. That was going to be my first show as well. And
Yeah.
I remember as well being absolutely devastated. I was like, I sacrificed all these things and now like there's nothing to show for it. And then I remember
Mm.
I planned to do photo shoots and they were cancelled as well. And it just seemed like the end of the world at the time. And I was like, I'm just going to give up competing. I'm not going to do it.
Mm.
Obviously that didn't happen, but looking back on the growth that
Mm.
you've had now, years of growth before you step on stage, that time is so worth it. And like it's always worth having more time. So I think if anyone is listening to this and they have to pull out of a prep because of an injury or something that has happened or a show gets cancelled, like that extra time is always just going to make you more competitive and a better competitor anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that you mentioned
And
that.
my starting point this prep was so much better than my starting point last time. Like it was so worth that wait. And it's
Yeah.
been so much more rewarding stepping on stage this time, having been through that whole journey.
Absolutely. And then what was the process like to get healthy enough to fall pregnant? Because you've obviously had Mason now, but there must have been a bit of a process to go through after having a prep and a cancelled show.
Yeah, so there's a story. It was after our honeymoon because I had like got into my gym training and I like shredded down for the wedding. And then we went on our honeymoon and I blew out and I was like, I'm going to do an 8-week challenge. So I signed up with this coach for an 8-week challenge. And very early on, I lost my cycle. And at the time I was like, this is great. But then you start to learn more about what that means for your body. And at the time the coach was like, oh, once your calories come back, like lift back up, it will come back. And so the calories went back up, it didn't come back. And then I was like, I'm going to compete. So then I think I started that prep on 1,800 calories, maybe 16 weeks out. And just like obviously cycle gone that whole way through. And I was reading about like osteoporosis and all of that. And then did a posing workshop and met Ali there. And when the comp was cancelled, that's when I decided I was going to switch coaches. And she was amazing. We still prepped for a photo shoot, but like health was key. So I was getting blood tests regularly. We were trying to, I guess, minimize the output and then trying to get those calories in, but then still coming in nicely for that photo shoot. Just the knowledge there was incredible. But yeah, the blood tests were coming back and they were looking at them saying it was almost like I was premenopausal. Is it perimenopause? And things. And yeah, like, so then there was talks of IVF, and because of COVID, I couldn't go through with the treatment that they wanted me to do because they'd stopped all the blood testing and I needed to have regular tests done for that. So it was a real journey, but yeah, my cycle came back, I want to say, so the photo shoot was October 2021 and my cycle came back February 2022, and then I fell pregnant in March.
Wow.
Like, yeah, it was amazing. It was this really cool journey, learning about my body and yeah, just learning about how important our cycles are, because I think sometimes we're like, oh, it's so annoying, but like actually,
and I think
yeah,
especially for like potentially younger competitors or younger girls in the gym who aren't even thinking about having kids for, you know,
yeah.
10 years, but they're not realizing the importance of keeping those hormones healthy and having a healthy cycle.
Mm.
What was it that you actually did to get your cycle back? Like, was it food? Was it training?
So food, we were prioritizing fats. Jacinta had me doing seed cycling, which was really interesting. Certain seeds at one phase of my cycle and then swapping them around. But yeah, that was I remember prioritizing the fats within my diet. And like when I was prepping for the comp and on that 8-week challenge, it was macros. Like we were given our calories and our macros, no meal plan. And I remember looking back now, I was like protein, 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 and I'd avoid fats. So obviously like our hormones need the fats. So that was on me as well, and just lack of knowledge and guidance, I guess.
Absolutely. And I think that's where it's important to have a coach who does have a really in-depth understanding of nutrition, because not only is it important for your hormonal health and your performance, but also just satiation and like sticking to your meal plan is so much easier if you've got a good balance of all of the macros and, you know, you've got a coach who you can say, oh, I'm a bit hungry. Can we change some meals around? And they might change meals based on what it does to your blood sugar, or add a bit of fats to help with satiation, or change the meal timing. Like there's so much you can do with your nutrition if you're working with someone who understands what to do with it, right?
Yeah. And I said, like in this prep, I was doing macros initially, and I knew when we were going to go hard, I just wanted to be on a meal plan. So I was like, right, switch me, put me on a meal plan, and I'll happily eat the same food every day for 8 weeks. But it's so much easier than, one, it takes the thought process out of what am I going to eat. So there's no like decision fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that everything's balanced in there and well thought out.
Absolutely. It saves time too. If you know exactly what you need from the grocery shop and exactly what you're meal prepping each week, it just really saves time. You just grab the same meals. Super simple. It works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So talking about pregnancy, you trained and tracked the whole way through, right?
Yeah, I did.
Can you talk us through that decision and what it looked like day to day for you?
Yeah. So I did follow like I was going to say postpartum pregnancy plan in terms of training, because I was initially really concerned about obviously safety, and you know, we'd been through a journey to fall pregnant. I just didn't want to risk anything, so I just made sure. I think I used one of those TD calculators and just added on the percentage in terms of making sure I was eating enough. But yeah, just altering training as the pregnancy went through. Like there was some like back extensions and things. And I didn't realize how long you could actually do those on the machine, as long as just the placement. Barbell hip thrusts until a certain point, and then just subbing that for a dumbbell. But yeah, I trained right through. It's funny actually looking back at the videos. I trained the day before he was born. Like I was so big.
Wow. And do you think that helped you, like after you had Mason, do you think that helped you, get back into the routine and get back into activity?
Yeah, so I because we ended up having an elective C-section. He was frank breech, so his head was like jammed up between my ribs and he wasn't going anywhere. So having that, I think it was 6 weeks after I went to see a physio for a check, and she was like, "You are so strong, like your core and yeah, because I trained the whole way through." She was like, signed me off straight away, and I could go back to the gym 6 weeks after a C-section. Like obviously not going in and loading up the barbell and squatting. Yeah, I think the whole way through the pregnancy, I was very aware of doming and things, so like subbing exercises there. And then it's all a blur, those newborn phase. But I feel like it was before the 6 weeks I started doing some core rehab too, like really gentle, just activation exercises. And just really, I did have a lot of doming, so prioritizing that core strength and can't remember the name of it now, like the abdominal separation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. That's so inspiring. And now that you are a mum and you're prepping, what advice do you have for navigating mum life and prep?
Organized, I think, is just being super organized. I've got my Google Calendar, everything goes in there, training, posing, all of my work things, even Mason's daycare hours, it was drop off time, pick up time, like everything's in a Google Calendar. And I think that's the main part. Bulk preparing food where I can. I also bulk prepare Mason's food. Like we've got 3 dinners in our household at the moment: Mason's, mine, and Dwayne's. So we all eat different things. So I tend to bulk cook Mason's food and have that frozen, as well as all the meals that I can pre-prepare as well. But organization is key. Yeah,
Yes.
that would be my main pointer.
And when you're putting things into your Google Calendar, is there like a strategy to it? Do you put in your work hours and then training and then fit things around that? Or what's the strategy behind that?
My work hours are pretty set because I go into schools, so it's school hours with a little bit of after school. Generally, training that I could not train after work. I would lose motivation. I wouldn't do it. So it's literally 4:30 in the morning. I have not always, not my whole life, but more recently, I've been an early trainer anyway. Dwayne and I used to go train together before kids, and then once Mason came along, we have started splitting that training. He just used to do some of the 4:30s, but now I do all of them. Yeah. So that, and then I generally will pose straight after that. So when Dwayne goes to the gym, I'm in the dining room doing my posing practice. Yeah.
Yeah,
Blocking it
so
all out.
understanding what those priorities are and just making them fit in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think like everyone's like, how do you get up at 4:30? You just get used to it. I remember when I met Dwayne, it was CrossFit, and I was a 9 a.m. CrossFit girl, and he was the 6 a.m. I was like, I am not getting up and going to the gym with you. And so looking back at that, I'm like, how am I the 4:30 person now?
Yeah, I think like sleep has a big play in that as well. Obviously, you have your regular sleep wake times, but if
Mm.
you're going to bed at 10, 11 p.m. and then trying to wake up at 4:30, it's obviously going to be hard. But if you train yourself to go to bed earlier and then regularly wake up at 4:30 and you're getting adequate sleep, it's so much easier.
It's just frustrating on those days off where you want to sleep in and you're like, I mean, I always wake up right before my alarm.
Yes, like clockwork.
Yeah, so I don't have to be up at 4:30 today.
What's one thing about training as a mum that people misunderstand?
Training as a mum that people misunderstand. I think, I don't know, like, because everyone's so different. Like, parent life is so dependent on what your child's like and what your work schedule's like. I guess I do get asked how I fit it in all the time. It's probably the biggest misunderstanding, like, you know. But I think people just need to find what suits their lifestyle. Like, is it group classes where there's childminding? Is it, yeah, you get up at 4:30 in the morning and get it done then? Or is it child goes to bed at 7 o'clock and then you go and train? But yeah, the biggest misunderstanding is just don't have time to do it. Like, I guess you have time for what you prioritize and what's important for you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. I think you're always going to make yourself busy with something. So it's
Yeah.
prioritizing what's important to you. I think that's such great advice.
Yeah.
And Do you ever have moments where your motivation is just really low?
Yes.
What do you do when it's like that?
Yeah. I want to say, when did my calories dropped 2.5 weeks ago? Like that hit. I remember I'd done my 4:30 class. Every Thursday morning I have like a 7 a.m. networking meeting. I'd done that and I was done by 9 o'clock in the morning. I was like, I've got to work all day still, and then I've got a parent tonight. I think it is just like, one, knowing it's a phase, and then two, coming back to my why. Like, I mean, I'm choosing to do this. Why am I doing this? And then I think, like, once I don't know, I just kind of get on with it. Like, yeah, I've chosen to do this. This is why I'm doing it. Next morning, up, back at the gym.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's such a good point. I think remembering that it is a choice. Like, no one's forcing you to prep and do a show and
Yeah.
do all these things. Like, it's a choice that you're making, and you probably made that choice for a reason. I know a lot of people struggle with finding their why, but trying to think about like why you actually decided to compete in the first place, like going back to those early days, can really help you to find that deeper why, I feel. Yeah.
And I think as well, like, I mean, Mason was sick the other week. So it's like, okay, no, training is in the too hard basket today. So then it's just reworking that schedule, being like, I'm still going to get it done. It's not going to happen today. So let's try and rejig things in. So he's still ticking all those boxes, but then also, like, if I'd had like not as much sleep because he was coughing all night and things, just, yeah,
Yeah.
making smart decisions too.
Absolutely. And do you feel like competing has or prep has changed how you show up in other parts of your life, like work, motherhood, mindset?
I feel like I'm having the best year in business as well. And I actually put it down to prep. I think because I have to be so organized, that my work time is also like more productive. I do have that personality, I think, where I like hyper focus. And so, yeah, like business, I've made some huge business changes this year, and seeing that, like, my goal for my business at the end of the year, smashed that at the end of term one. Like, it was just
Wow.
like, and I honestly think I put it down to prep as well, just being in that super focused mindset. I
Yeah.
do feel that it does at times, like, take away, like, because obviously there's only so much you can fit in. And I am looking forward to post comp and being like that focus on mum mode and wife mode, and I could say being human a little bit. But yeah, in terms of productivity, it's been amazing.
Yes, definitely. I can relate to that as well. When you're in prep mode, I think it's because you're so driven towards a goal. So then you're just going to apply that to other areas of your life. But also, I think you just really value the little time that you do have. So if you're
Mm.
like really busy fitting all these other things, you know, I've only got like this specific time to work, and you kind of just roll that productivity through because you've only got that time available.
Yes. And getting really good at multitasking too. Like, I clear my emails on the spin bike in the morning or something, or on the treadmill. I schedule them all for 8 a.m. to go out to like the families I work with, and yeah, finding little hacks.
Yes, I feel like that time doing cardio in prep, because you have to create the time for cardio, habit stacking that with something else, whether it's work or like, you know, editing your videos or creating
Yes.
content or responding to messages, like whatever it is, using that time wisely is so beneficial because it's literally hours per week, you know, by the end of a prep. So you may as
Yeah.
well be using it wisely. And it
Yeah. It
makes
makes
the
that time
cardio
go
go
faster
faster.
too.
Yeah. What would you say has been the biggest mental challenge for you this prep?
I think the length of it potentially, but then that's also not like it's actually been a dream. I remember starting out so far out and being like, oh, like this has got to go on for so long. And so I think in terms of a challenge, like, Dwayne and I are foodies that we like to go. We used to do winery trips and go out for meals, and I really miss that, and that time that we have together. But then, in the flip side, it's been a dream because I don't like to say my prep's been quite cruisy. Like, it's been really smooth, and that is because it's been longer when we put the hard work in early. So pros and cons to that, I guess, but definitely, yeah, the biggest challenge would be having that time to put into, yeah, my relationship as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there like a specific meal or something that you're looking forward to after the shows, or do you not like to think about that yet?
I have thought about it, and more because I'm really excited to go to the Gold Coast. I haven't been out of the country since before COVID, and I
Wow.
used to, like, travel all the time. So it's really looking forward to getting back to the Gold Coast. I really just feel like sushi and like fresh fish, and like I don't want all the stodgy donuts and burgers, but I think that's because of a previous experience where I had done a big cut, and then it was my stepdaughter's birthday at a pub, and I was like, got the kumara fries and the burger, and I spent most of her birthday dinner in the bathroom feeling like I was going to be sick. And so I think that's ingrained in my head, and like, no. So just something light, and I'm more excited to go out for dinner with Dwayne than what I'm actually going to eat.
Yeah, absolutely. Just that quality time together and not having to
Yeah.
worry about like tracking and weighing everything, right?
Yeah, and I haven't got my scales at a restaurant. Like,
Yeah, so true. And what kind of support system do you rely on to make this all happen? Because it obviously takes a bit of a team to get a competitor to stage.
yes. Again, like my family, I've got, I'd say Dwayne's probably the biggest support system. Like he definitely is helping a lot, and he definitely carries some of that load. I think like prep partners and prep husbands are amazing, and sometimes get a little bit overlooked because we get so focused on ticking all of our boxes. But yeah, he like helps out. We split bedtime, and then my hangry moments.
Yes, shout out to Dwayne and all the other prep husbands out
Yeah, I
there.
know. He copped it. What was it? That first week of my calories had dropped, and I had to go to the dentist. And I finished at the dentist at my afternoon tea snack time, and she was like, "And no eating till 6 p.m." And I actually bit her head off. I was like, "But I've just had the smallest lunch at like 12:30." And so then I had to come home and prep all my food for the next day while starving, looking at my afternoon tea still sitting there. And the poor man, what he dealt with that night.
Yeah, that would have been rough for both of
Yeah,
you and for the dentist. I wish
I
she would
felt
have
bad for the
known.
dentist.
Yeah, I wish the dentist would have known to tell you to have your snack before you came in.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, if anyone's listening to this and you go into the dentist, definitely eat your snacks beforehand.
Or ask if there's a period afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And do you feel like you've built a bit of a community through competing as well?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure I met you. I don't know if I actually met you, but that came from that 2021 prep. I
Yeah.
think there was a group chat back then. And then I met people at that posing workshop they held. And I'm still in contact with some of those people or followed them to, a lot of them have been on stage now, which is cool. But yeah, this prep, there's a whole lot of us who chat all the time and are shouting each other out and putting stories, and like get training at the gym at one of the girls is 3:30 in the morning. She's time stamps. I'm like, and then even like these girls in Australia I'm talking to, I got my bikinis for this comp secondhand, and so people I'd spoken to about potentially buying bikinis, and we've stayed in touch, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to actually meeting everybody.
Yes. It's such a
Yes, it was so
cool
much fun backstage.
Absolutely. It's such a cool aspect of competing. And I think if anyone listening to this is scared to reach out to people or to contribute to group chats, like definitely do it because everyone else is looking for connection as well from someone who's going through similar stuff because other people in your life don't necessarily understand what
Mm-hmm.
it's like. And when you have these group chats or you have like people that you reach out to on Instagram because you see they're doing the same show, it's so nice to be able to just relate to someone and have those little funny moments like you're both up at 3:30 or like
Yeah.
you're kind of like suffering through things together. I don't like to say suffer, but you know what I mean? It's so nice to just relate to someone and build those connections. And they last for years and years. And then it's so cool to see people go on and do incredible things in other shows. And then you cross paths in all these different ways. So definitely lean into that.
What I've loved as well is like pros reaching out, like people I've followed for ages, and then they suddenly comment on one of your stories. I'm like, oh, that. And then the other thing is, I've been listening to this podcast during some of my cardio sessions or while I'm driving, and some of the people you've had on have been amazing. And so I've just reached out and said, thank you so much for what you shared on the podcast. It's been super inspiring, and then build connections that way too. So it's a
Yeah.
really neat community.
Yeah, it really is cool. And it's so much fun backstage as well when you see all those people in person.
Mm.
So competing is obviously not cheap. I think we all know that.
Yeah.
How do you approach budgeting for two shows so close together and one of them being overseas for you?
Yeah, so I did download your budget planner initially and did a rough one. I think I completely underestimated the cost of two shows, two bikinis, two gowns, two sets of theme wear,
Yeah.
because we've got the theme wear as well. So yeah, I definitely underestimated the costs there. But I have reached out to people and just said, hey, this is what I'm doing. Would you be interested in sponsoring? And that's actually it's blown me away, the response just from asking. I did some filming and photos back late last year for the gym I go to, and the owner was there, and I was like, hey, this is what I'm planning on doing next year. What's the chances of sponsoring? He's like, oh yeah, we can sort your gym membership out, don't worry about that. Like, he
So
said,
good.
and yeah, and then he did look into some sponsorship for supplements, but they weren't taking on anyone. And then spoke to my nail lady does hair extensions. So I was like, hey, would you be interested in? And she was like, yeah. So, like, it's asking the question. I figured all they can say is no, and then you're in the same place you're in before you asked. So it's just
That's
not,
so
if
true.
you can get over that fear of rejection, I guess. It's
Absolutely.
people I've dealt with for a long time anyway. Like, I've been at the gym since 2020. I've been going to the same nail lady for ages. There's a skin company, been going religiously since probably 2021. And then the lady she made my wedding dress, she actually started making my theme wear back in 2021.
Wow.
And then obviously it all fell apart. So I reached out to her again and said, it's happening. Do you want to do it? And she was like, yeah. And I was down having my fitting the other day, and she was like, do not go buy a gown for media night. I was like, are you sure? She's like, this is my jam. I love evening wear. I am designing stuff for you, and it's my gift to you.
I love that.
Yeah. So just little things like that, and relationships, and to help. Every little thing helps. It is expensive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I think getting any sponsorships and collaborations that you can and using your existing network that you've got is such a powerful way to do that. And I think because, you obviously share about your journey so passionately and you would talk about it so passionately to people who you're dealing with, I think that probably comes across. And you're such a positive influence, within the fitness community in New Zealand that brands would want to jump on board on that. So if you're sharing, a powerful message and sharing your journey and putting yourself out there, then definitely reach out to brands because people will want to support your journey, and you're valuable to brands as well if you're inspiring other people out there who have a similar target audience to you effectively.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're obviously living proof that fitness and family can coexist. What would you say to a mum who feels like it's too late to focus on her goals?
It's never too late. Like, yeah, I've had lots of conversations with people at the gym and things like that. And yeah, just again, it's that prioritizing and starting small. Like, what is manageable for you? Like, don't go out and try and do 5 days a week and your cardio, and like, start small. Maybe that's, if I look back to when Mason was a newborn, like when I got that sign off, I was like, I don't have time to go to the gym. Like, I can't go to the gym. And it was Dwayne who said to me, you need to go to the gym because that's like for your mental health. And so I think it might have even just been 2 days a week where my mother-in-law came and sat in the lounge while Mason, well, he was meant to be napping, but probably wasn't. And I just went down to a little half an hour. And then gradually, as he got older, built that up. But yeah, it's never too late. It's just creating something that works with your routine. I've got my mum into the gym. So she does the 65 plus golden class.
So
And
cool.
like, it's such a cute class. Now she's like enjoying that. So now she's got a program and she's doing like an upper body session and a lower body session in her classes. Like, it's never too late.
Amazing. That's so
That
cool that you've
65
inspired
plus
her.
class is so inspiring.
Yeah, absolutely. And have you ever had any self-doubt around whether you can do all the things that you're doing?
I've always been described as an overachiever. And like, I was the kid who would apparently wake up in the morning and say to my mum, what are we doing today? And she would go, nothing. I go, can I call Nana? Like, we're going to go do this. And then I got every single brownies badge and every single girl guide badge. Like, that's probably my personality. But in terms of doubt, I think it's more, I feel like I'm not doing enough. Yeah. And so yeah. And like, seeing all the other competitors and being like, oh, I should be doing more cardio. I should be doing more steps. And I think I said to Ellie recently, are we cutting my calories yet? And it's more, actually, I don't need to do more, but my brain is doubting the process and saying, do more, do more, do more. Yeah.
Yes, I think that's such an important lesson to learn is like finding out where that minimal effective dose is. Like you only want to do as much as you need to in order to get, reach the goals that you want to reach. If you're doing extra cardio or extra training or whatever on top of your program, like then when you need to progress or push a little bit harder, you've got nowhere to push and it's
Yeah,
not going to work.
exactly.
So it's like doing the minimum that you have to do to reach those goals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What are you hoping to prove to yourself in the FMG New Zealand show?
I think that it's, like, yeah, I am a mum and I can do it. And there is that mentality out there like, oh, once you're a mum, you're never going to get your body's never going to be the same. And you're going to have no time for this. And there is all that talk out there. And it's, yeah, proving to myself that I can do it. But also, like, my big thing is showing Mason, like, this is what mum can do. And yeah, I think I've mentioned it on my Instagram before, like I get him up. We open the door at 7 a.m. and he's like, hello, mummy. And he'll be like, mummy gym? Mummy gym? And I'll be like, yeah, mummy went to the gym this morning. And normally, like, Dwayne's still at the gym. Dad, gym? Like, your dad's at the gym. And he knows Nana goes to the gym. And actually, we walked past recently and he was like, me? Not yet, mate. But he's doing his little, like, push-ups, which are, like, yeah, little things he does. Yeah, and we go, what happens at the gym? And he goes, like, strong.
It's so cool for him to have that influence growing up and seeing that, his parents and grandparents going to the gym as a normal thing, because then he's going to grow up with such a healthy lifestyle and seeing it as just the normal, like taking care of your body and going to the gym, which is really cool.
Yeah, I think there is the flip side though as well. Like, I'm very cautious around food and things, especially I've got a teenage stepdaughter as well. So talking a lot about, like, with her, like, yeah, I'm weighing all my food, but like food is fuel as well. And then because Mason's in this phase where he's trying to force feed me all the time. And he's like, mummy, share, mummy, share with me. And he's like shoving his food in my face and trying not to say mummy can't. I do have the benefit where I can't eat gluten and it's normally like toast or something. I'm like, mummy can't have gluten. But I definitely don't want to be like, mummy can't eat that, or, and just, yeah, there's that really careful messaging because they're little sponges and they take everything on board.
Yeah, absolutely. He's lucky to have you guys and have you being so aware of things that you're saying as well, because yeah, that'll obviously help him in the long run.
Yeah.
Looking ahead to FMG Worlds as well, that's going to be a massive achievement stepping on the world stage, not only in a different country as well. So what does that mean to you?
For me, I'm just so excited to be surrounded by all the people I know who are going to be there. I've followed some of these people for a long time. I'm going to sound a bit fangirly, I think. Everyone has that pro card, like, goal, like, to my ultimate would be, and I don't think I've said this out loud to anyone except Ellie, but I would love to get that pro status on the NZ show and just go out there. I think I said to Ellie, and then have my butt kicked on the pro stage at Worlds. Like that, but to stand on the stage with those people who just have incredible physiques and have worked for years, like, that's just going to be amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just the experience of that's why I'm doing it. I was like, do you know what? I've put all this money and all this effort. We may as well go 2 weeks longer, and then we have a little bit of a getaway afterwards. Yeah, just
Yes.
is for the experience. And maybe it'll be on the amateur stage still. Maybe, I don't know. Depends what happens and who turns up on the day at NZ. But it's the experience of it all.
Yeah, it's so exciting. And I think it's so worth tying in a few shows together if you can, and if they're close together, which a lot of the FMG shows are. Like, there's shows all over the world, and there's some that are just weeks apart. And it's just so worth tying them together if you can, because if you think of a prep, like, it's so long, you may as well tie in a couple of shows for that bit of extra expense. And if you can tie in a holiday with it too, like, you're obviously tying in a little bit of a holiday, and that's great for the family as well. Like, then it's not just going overseas for a show. If you're going overseas for a show and then a holiday too, like, it's something else to look forward to, and you feel like your money on flights and all those other things are going towards a holiday as well, rather than just competing.
Yeah, I have said, because Dwayne's like, you're not going to do this again, are you? I'm pretty sure I am. But I was like, what we should do is actually pick someone. There's so many shows to choose from. So I probably won't compete next year. I want to really like build and have that human time and let Dwayne have his year, because I think that's really important. I've had a year building a business and now a year prepping, and so next year can be his, and then the year after, like picking a show somewhere in the world and really making it a family holiday. I wanted to take Mason to Worlds, but it was like fly my parents as well, and we thought it's probably better if he stays here for that one. But to have him come overseas on a show trip as well would be amazing.
Yes, absolutely. And there's just more and more shows every year. So I'm sure there will be plenty to choose from.
Yes, yeah.
Where can people follow your journey to support your prep and watch the rest of your journey to the FMG New Zealand and World stages?
Yeah, so I set up a little separate Instagram account just tracking my journey, which is on Fit Kiwi Mum. Yeah, and so trying to share my journey as honestly and as I can on there, and little bits and pieces behind the scenes. I do try and keep Mason off there a little bit, but you get to the back of his head sometimes, and yeah, just sharing my journey there.
Yes, amazing. I'll link that down below so that everyone can follow you, because the content that you post is so inspiring, but also so real, which is really refreshing, with everything that's online these days. So everyone go and follow Dani. And Dani, thank you so much for your time today. I think this will be so inspiring for anyone listening to it, and good luck for the New Zealand and World shows.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Dani.